You cannot escape from death.
Today I'm going to be doing a very thorough breakdown of the Tekken 8 Chapter 1 preview that the developers gave us. But I'm going to be breaking it up into two separate parts. The first part will consist of this video, which is basically tackling the Jin versus Kazuya aspect, the hints of Jin Kazama, you have Victor, Raven, a lot of interesting plot points that I want to flesh out in this video and fully explore. But then I will be doing a part 2 very soon that tackles what we see at the end of the video. You have the part where the characters walking through the cave, shining a light. You see demons and gods and all kind of stuff. I really want to separate it because both of these things are very important and I want to properly highlight both of them. So we're going to jump into this video, but definitely be on the lookout for part 2. Subscribe and stay tuned for that. But let's jump into this. So first you start off in the clouds up above and we get a glimpse of this flying boat. The name of this boat is called Vipnir. In Alyssa's story, it said that Dr. Boskanovich and Lee Shaolan both crafted this together. So yes, Dr. Boskanovich is alive and well, and yes, he's also assisting Lee, Lars, and Jin Kazama. You can see here it says Rebel Army Yggdrasil, Flying Boat Vipnir. Commander Lars, Operation Lightning will commence momentarily. Here's something that we didn't see in the first one. You have Lee Shaolan with a symbol of a unicorn, it looks like, on his chest. He says it has been 6 months since the disappearance of Heihachi Mishima, so kind of setting the tone. An opportunity finally presents itself. Lars says yes. Today we will take down this evil incarnate, talking about Kazuya Mishima. As they say it's all up to him, it's zoom into Jin Kazama, who's in New York City riding his motorcycle to the heart of the chaos, where Kazuya is said to be traveling. Now, I will be skipping a little bit ahead because we saw this. He rides up the building. It's really cool. He throws his motorcycle at the helicopter, knocks it down. Kazuya walks out the flame. The cinematics here is excellent. These two characters talk back and forth. Like I said, go watch the video because I do think this interaction between the two is super important. You get a great look at how Kazuya feels about this whole thing. He's like, why are you bothering me? And you can see how Jin really wants to take them both down. I want to pick up here when Jin activates his rage art. He gets into a little bit of a scuffle with Kazuya Mishima. Kazuya's not really trying, so Jin Kazama's just getting the upper hand. And then Kazuya says, do you even realize the countless lives you sacrifice, what you've done? Jin says, yeah, I must atone for my sins. This is where Kazuya really starts to trolling. How ludicrous. Come now, bring out your devil. And this is when the fight really turns. I'll kill you and put an end to all of this. He transforms into Devil Jin. The fight kind of continues. Kazuya fights a little bit. Now you're using Devil Jin instead of Jin Kazama. This dialogue right here was very interesting. As Devil Jin is fighting Kazuya, he says, I'll send you to hell and then I'll soon join you after. Once again, it just speaks to how dark Jin Kazama's plan truly is. Like, he wants to get rid of Kazuya. Like, if Kazuya dies right here in this moment, then Jin Kazama's going to do what he's planning to do, right? So that just is a constant reminder of how dark his intentions really is, you know? Now, this part is so interesting. He uses the Force here. This power is never explained, but the fact that they're showing it in this battle means that we're probably going to get some kind of, maybe not explanation, because I doubt they would explain this. You don't want midichlorians being thrown into the Devil Gene, but I'm guessing we'll see this highlighted in ways we've never seen it before. He says, prepare to die, throws a bunch of cards at him, and then shoots a Kamehameha laser beam at Kazuya. Jin says, you lose. He's kind of bragging about the whole thing. He throws Kazuya up into this building. Notice this building has a picture of Combat face on it and it says Violet Systems. This is a cool nod to Combat. Whether or not we'll see him, I think we probably will see him in some fight scenes or something like that. He drags him all the way up this building and then choke slams him through a 20-story building, blow through the whole thing and level it. But pay attention here. Jin is the one slamming Kazuya in it, but once you reach the bottom, Jin is being thrown out of this. He's upside down and it looked like he's either get thrown or he gets punched, and then Devil Kazuya emerges. That's a very interesting thing and you really won't catch it at full speed. So you can just see how in an instant the battle turns. As soon as Kazuya decides to start fighting back, it turns. And this is kind of what I was trying to highlight over the past couple of months, is how Jin is destined to lose this battle and Kazuya is just outclassing him. Now I can't explain why Jin can't really keep up with Kazuya, because we know from Tekken 7 Claudio said that his Devil Gene is stronger than Kazuya's, so technically he should be winning. I'm really not trying to relate it to Star Wars too much, but I know, like, when you're a Star Wars Force user, if you're confused about the dark side, the light side, you become weaker. So I don't know if that's kind of what's happening with him, where he's not really one, how Kazuya is one. He says, enough of this farce, time to end this. They do another Kamehameha laser beam clash, and then right off the bat, Kazuya just wins it. He's just outmatching Jin Kazama. Kazuya is continuing to talk trash. He says, that's all you can muster from the blood I gave you. As long as I live, the body count will continue to grow. And this is basically when we start to see the more darker side of Kazuya. Notice the head turn. I remember Harada saying that Kazuya is always like cool, everyone like roots for Kazuya, but he really wanted to emphasize how this guy really is evil. He really is. It's kind of like Darth Vader. Everyone loves Darth Vader, but Darth Vader was going around blowing up planets and stuff with the Death Star, right? So they're kind of trying to show that aspect of Kazuya. Like, he's not just a person who was beat up by Heihachi for his whole life. He transformed into something way worse now. They're really showing you how the devil gene took hold of Kazuya, and he's a monster. He should be feared. And we'll see more of this in just a second when Jin Kazama, definitively loses this battle. This is when Jin Kazama says, mother, I still can't protect anybody. And then this is when he does something crazy. He flashes back to Ogre. Now, a lot of people are immediately jumping and say, Ogre confirmed, DLC, Ogre's this, Ogre's that. I mean, I love Ogre too. I do think he should play kind of a big role in Jin Kazama's introduction, but the fact that they're showing him at least tells us, the player, that this is something they want us to be aware of, right? They want us to know, because this is the very important thing too, right? Jin Kazama is kind of doubting himself. He's kind of feeling bad. He just got clapped up by Kazuya Mishima, and now Kazuya is going to make a demonstration. He's pulling a Omni-Man in this moment. Him flashing back to another point when he was very helpless and he couldn't do anything, that triggers his ultimate form, Devil Jin. He goes completely berserk and he shoots this laser. I don't know why there's multiple different lasers here. I don't know if he's shooting it like boom, 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 but once again, Kazuya is unfazed. He says, so the powers consumed you. He says, pathetic. Now, this is the thing about Jin Kazama, and the reason why Jin and Devil Jin has always been separate. When Jin transforms into Devil Jin in the past games, he doesn't have control, and he basically is a mindless beast. They might as well be two separate characters. It was the same for Kazuya. When he didn't have control, they were two characters. But once Kazuya basically became one with the Devil Gene, that's when he became one character. And I do kind of see Tekken 8 as not being necessarily the death of Kazuya, but more so being the death of Devil Jin. I think this may be the last game that he's like his own fully playable character, because once Jin Kazama masters it the way Kazuya did, they have to become one, unless the developers just want to start making up random canon, right? That's what they established already. So the battle continues. Your resolve, your tenacity, all of it is for nothing. And then he basically unleashes this beam that we never seen before. So many different things that the Devil Gene is doing in this instant, and I'm pretty sure all throughout Tekken 8 we have never seen them before. This is like a true Kamehameha. Like, look at that. So this is probably like 20 stories wide, this beam of light, and it's just firing through the whole entire New York City. Jin Kazama's trying to block it, but he gets overwhelmed by it. It cuts to black. Here's where things get even more interesting. Taking us undersea, it doesn't say the exact location of where this is, but it's a stealth operation. We're in a submarine. On board is the leader of Union of Nation Forces, Sanchez. We also will see Raven in a moment. This is just a pretty cool scene, and I think this once again just shows how levels ahead Tekken 8 is trying to be. It's really trying to be an experience on a whole different level. Raven says, Admiral, a few city blocks have been lost. So you can see they're also tracking the Kazuya Jin battle as well. Top Brass has given us new attack orders. Who's Top Brass? I don't know. But regardless, Victor doesn't care at all. He says, a waste of time. Belay that action. Assisting the survivors is your top priority. So he's basically putting Raven on cleanup duty. This is interesting here because one, it shows that Ravens are all loyal to him regardless of what happens. But then two, it shows that he's not against going against orders. He just received orders and he's like, I don't care. I don't even want to hear what those orders are. Keep doing what you're doing and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I just think that's interesting interesting that they showed us that that's basically his character, right? That's the first introduction to him. I wonder if Sanchez will be a by any means necessary type of character, willing to do bad for the sake of doing good. Jin Kazama was the same way. You talk about the World War III, but we won't get into that. Focusing on Kazuya now, that laser completely obliterated everything. Now he starts to broadcast his self to the world. I speak now to all of humanity. For too long, you have relied on weapons of ordnance, transforming into a race of spineless weaklings. The rulers of this world are too frail and have forgotten what it means to fight. We should be blindly abide by the rules and social conventions invented by such cowards. So he's basically just mocking everyone. Foolish humans, open your eyes. I shall rewrite the rules of this irrational world. This is pretty interesting because he's kind of talking like Heihachi. Heihachi back in the Tekken motion picture, which is not a canon, but still. He was saying how
the only way to truly salvage this disgusting world is to destroy everything on it so a new world can be rebuilt.
You monster! You threw your son into the canyon specifically to place that dark hatred in his heart. You've groomed the perfect successor for your plans of carnage and genocide.
And Kazuya is now giving one of those same kind of speeches. It is kind of ironic though. He's talking trash to everyone about using weapons and being frail and being weak. But if it wasn't for the Devil Gene, this guy would have died a long time ago and he wouldn't be here today. These Mishimas, yes, they're powerful, but they're still carried by one of the greatest weapons ever, the Devil Gene. We'll talk about the origins of that in a second when we get to the second half of this story cutscene. Now in this moment, Kazuya summons another amazing blue laser and then he fires it up into the sky and he basically starts wiping out a bunch of satellites. You can see here, this is on Vitpnir. We lost contact with our other squads. A lot of people are saying if he shot down all the satellites, how is he still giving this speech? And I think it's simply because maybe his satellites is still up, or maybe he only targeted the satellites of his opposing factions. So that's not really an issue. In this moment, he's now announcing the new King of the Iron Fist tournament, and basically he's trying to usher in a new world. Only the strongs can survive and everyone else will die. So Kazuya is really going off the deep end here. You see Steve Fox watching this. You see Paul Phoenix watching this. It says, seize glory in your own hands, achieve with your fists. But be warned, those who fail to prove their might shall be wiped from the earth along with their country. You have Lily as well, looking amazing as always. Now, I do want to highlight the importance of this. In the past, there's always been tournaments, but the tournaments has always been for stupid reasons. Join the tournament and win some money. Join the tournament and you maybe could win the Mishima Zaibatsu. Even though they all have been rigged and only the Mishimas have won, I think it's kind of ridiculous to continue it, but in the context that they're doing it now, it makes sense. Kazuya is basically like, this is the end game. You join this tournament, if you lose, not only are you going to die, but also I am going to wipe out whatever country, whatever part of the world you crawled out of. And I think this is really going to motivate a character like Paul Phoenix. Paul Phoenix, look at this, bro. I hate this. Paul Phoenix is one of the most strongest people on this planet. He's out here riding this motorcycle, enjoying the weather. Meanwhile, you have satellites falling from the sky. I don't understand how characters this powerful can just sit and watch the destruction that's being caused. I don't want to jump ahead in the video, but there's a segment that shows us that San Francisco is destroyed. Paul Phoenix in Tekken 2, his stage was New York City. His friend Law is San Francisco. Both of you guys' homes is being destroyed and you don't even care about it. You're just out riding your motorcycle, money, and it just doesn't make sense. Like, I get Paul Phoenix doesn't care, but at what point do you care? Your homes have been destroyed. Your whole life has been ruined. Hopefully we see these guys get more invested into the story, but as it stands, I don't know. You cut to black and you have Jin Kazama floating down in the water. This is also really interesting as well because it shows his connection with Jin Kazama. This is where he says, look like I lost, and then he sees Devil Jin. He's envisioning Devil Jin and is basically saying, come on, I can help you. Join the same way I did. And this is probably the same thing that happened with Kazuya to an extent, right? When he was facing the lowest of lows, he probably had this same offer and took it. Jin says, I won't let you consume me. I'm not like him, talking about Kazuya Mishima. And Devil Jin basically goes back to where he came from. But then notice here, you have this bright light shining, and then he envisions Jin Kazama. So this may be her reaching out to him. She says, listen up, Jin Kazama. The Kazama style is, and then as she sticks her hands out, the cutscene ends, but notice Jin Kazama immediately is reaching his hand out. He didn't even react to Devil Jin at all, but 1 second of seeing Jin Kazama, his hand is automatically up and out. This is going to be interesting to see how she comes in and basically tries to intervene in all of this. Not only Jin Kazama, but Reina as well.